guys, welcome to Study Room. This is Nikita, your English tutor from Study Room. So today we are going to start with the chapter 1, A Letter to God. So before we all move forward and discuss the stories and poems, it's just a little bit of introduction that please remember guys, English is something that you need to understand a lot of metaphors, puns, symbolization, know about the background of the author because that is what forms the basis of the story. Every author is inspired by his personal incidents or surroundings to write a story. So when you know the author better, you know the story, you can understand the story more deeply and connect to it. And don't try to read these stories as boring chapters, but try to read them as something like observe them, observe how these are described, because maybe someday even you will be interested in literature, want to take up further studies. So just try to understand the little things that are there, and even just try to understand that what is author deeply trying to convey. It's not just the plain paper, or it's not just what is written all over, okay? It has some deep meaning attached to it, so just try to understand that, okay? So this chapter is titled as A Letter to God. Okay, so this isn't a normal story. It's about a story. It's about a letter which has been written to God. So first about the author, as I told you, it's very important to know about the author. Gregorio Lopez A. Fuentes, born on November 17, 1895, and died on December 10, 1966, was a Mexican novelist, poet, and journalist. So, Gregorio Lopez, he was born on November 17, 1895, and died on December 10, 1966. He belonged to Mexico, that's why it's Mexican, and he's a novelist. So, a novelist is a person who writes novels. Poet is a person who writes poems, and journalist. So journalist is basically the one who does news or covers stories, does interviews, does reporting. Journalism is also a very big field that has been growing. He was one of the leading chroniclers of the Mexican Revolution. So he was one of the leading representatives at Mexican Revolution, and that's how maybe he's into this journalism, covering all these stories and trying to find the truth and fighting for it. So now let's talk about the theme of the story. G.L. Fuentes' narrative, A Letter to God, is about a man's unwavering confidence in God. The author has attempted to portray a poor farmer's faith in God and his lack of faith in fellow human beings. So basically this letter to God, this narrative, is about a man's, the confidence that he has in God, and they have taken a poor farmer, because they say that when you can't find anything else, you go to God. Remember, whenever you have any problem, you remember God. So this farmer is poor and his faith is in God, but he does not believe in fellow human beings. So this letter is what he writes to God, what he conveys his feeling, and what he asks for. So the author has attempted to portray a poor farmer's faith in God through this letter. A storm destroys the crops, yet the peasant views it as a divine intention. He writes a letter to God, the pinnacle of blind faith, and when he receives the money, he believes it was sent for him by God. Even after he receives 70 pesos, he is dissatisfied because he believes God must have sent him 100 pesos, but the post office personnel stole 30 pesos. So this is a gist of the story or the chapter that we are going to read. So basically this farmer, the peasant is basically farmer. His crops are destroyed through a storm, and then he writes a letter to God, crying for help, saying that the problems that he's facing and everything. And when he receives few money, which is around 70 pesos, he thinks it has been sent by God. And even after receiving 70 pesos, so pesos may be a Mexican currency, he's dissatisfied because he doesn't believe in humans. So he thinks that the postman must have stolen 30 pesos. We will know more about it in detail, that what he writes the letter, what the story is and everything. But this is overall a gist and the background of the story. So this story captures the mindset of illiterate and destitute villagers, as well as the sympathetic nature of those like the mailman. The story also talks about faith. Faith is said to be able to move mountains, but in what should we place our trust? This is the tricky question that this story raises. When his crops are destroyed, Lencho writes a letter to God asking for 100 pesos. Is Lencho's letter delivered to God? So, just as I told you guys, so the story is not just plain black and white. It has a deep meaning. So this story also tries to portray the feelings of the illiterate people who have blind faith in everything, right? They believe that religion, all of these are the ones that are helping them. They do not try to believe in human beings, or they aren't sympathetic. So, villagers, and it's not their problem also. So, if we try to understand, they are in a lot of problems, and which are caused by people, few people though, and they think that only God is the one who can help them. So for illiterates and for these destitute villagers, it's only the God that is of help. So this man also writes a letter to God, okay? And not just about the mindset of illiterate, but the story is also a deep analysis of faith. How faith is something that people say, have faith, have hope, and it can make everything possible. But what is important is that in what things should we have faith, in what things should we place our trust on. And this is the tricky question that at the end of the story we will all answer to. So when this farmer Lencho or peasant Lencho's crops are destroyed, he writes a letter to God asking for 100 pesos. But whom does this letter get delivered? From where does the money come? Does he have faith in people? Everything will be answered as we move to the story. So before beginning the story and reading the story, let me again revise the theme for you people. So the major three themes that you should all know is that this story portrays about a poor farmer's plight and his letter to God. The second thing, this story tries to convey the mindset of illiterate and destitute people who basically just need something for a hope. This story will answer to what we should have faith on. Is blind faith really important, or is blind faith harmful? Okay, so let's start reading the story. A letter to God. The house, the only one in the entire valley, sat on the crest of a low hill. From this height one could see the river and the field of ripe corn dotted with the flowers that always promised a good harvest. So the author is first trying to tell us about the whole scene of the village, about the house where the farmer lived, about the crops that always grow so blooming. So he says that there's just one house in this big valley at the low hill, and from this height you can see the river, you can see the crops that are being blossoming, which are promising a good harvest. The only thing the earth needed was a downpour, or at least a shower. Throughout the morning, Lencho, who knew his fields intimately, had done nothing else but the sky towards the northeast. So all Lencho was waiting for a good harvest was few shower and downpour as rains, okay? So he just needed few rains, and from the morning Lencho was just sitting at his fields thinking and just seeing the sky and wondering, when will the rain come? Please rains come, please rains come. Now we are really going to get some water, woman. The woman who was preparing supper replied, yes, God willing. So it must be his wife, the woman that he's talking to. He says, now we are really going to get some water, because he sees at the sky and he thinks, oh, we're going to get some downpour. And the woman who was preparing supper is basically meals. So the woman who was preparing that, she replied, yes, if God wishes to. Willing is basically wishes, if God wishes. So you can see where the author is trying to establish their faith on the God. The older boys were working in the field, while the smaller ones were playing near the house until the woman called to them all, "Come for dinner." It was during the meal that, just as Lencho had predicted, big drops of rain began to fall. In the northeast, huge mountains of clouds could be seen approaching. So he must be having two sons and everybody. So the older boys, who were the big elder sons, were basically working in the field. They were trying to help the father. So in most of the farmers, even in India, the kids usually go to the farm, they help their father. And the smaller ones were playing near the house until the wife calls them and says, "Please come for dinner." It was during the meal that, just as Lencho had predicted, so Lencho, who predicts in the sky that rain will come, big drops of rain began to fall, and you could see big clouds approaching towards them. The air was fresh and sweet. The man went out for no other reason than to have the pleasure of feeling the rain off his body, and when he returned he exclaimed, "These aren't raindrops falling from the sky, they are new coins." So the author is trying to tell us about the weather, about how farmer was so happy seeing the rain, and he says that the fresh air, it was sweet air, and he just went out to feel the pleasure of these rains and to see his crops harvesting, and just thinking in his mind and saying, "They are not just raindrops, but these are my earnings. These are the raindrops that will cause a good harvest and give me new money, give me profits." The big drops are 10-cent pieces and the little ones are 5s. With a satisfied expression, he regarded the field of ripe corn with its flour draped in a curtain of rain. So you can see how the author has used words, right? Draped in a curtain of rain. So these are basically metaphors that you basically try to express something, exaggerate about something, try to build a scene. But suddenly a strong wind began to blow, and along with the rain, very large hailstones began to fall. These truly did resemble new silver coins. The boys, exposing themselves, ran out to collect the frozen pearls. So suddenly what happened, when they were taking the pleasure and enjoying the rain, a strong wind came with this downpour and it started to began to fall, and the storm was just rising. And they did resemble new silver coins, so the boys just went out and tried to collect these pearls. The hailstones, okay? Hailstones are basically these ice that fall when a strong wind is coming along with downpour. "It's really getting bad now," exclaimed the man. "I hope it passes quickly." It did not pass quickly. So the storm was dangerous, it was scary, it was destroying the crops, and all the man wished was that it should pass quickly. For an hour the hail rained on the house, the garden, the hillside, the cornfield, on the whole valley. The field was white, as if covered with salt. Not a leaf remained on the trees, the corn was totally destroyed. So after an hour of this hailstorm on the house, garden, hillside, cornfield, everything saw the storm, and everything was covered with white salt because of the hailstones. And this made the corn seeds destroy. There was no blooming, there was no harvest. The flowers were gone from the plants. Lencho's soul was filled with sadness. When the storm had passed, he stood in the middle of the field and said to his sons, "A plague of locusts would have left more than this." So the flowers were gone, Lencho's soul. So seeing how the farm was destroyed, there was no corn seeds left, everything that he was praying as prophet is now destroyed by the storm. He was filled with sadness, and he stood in the middle of the field and said, "A plague of locusts." So locusts are these small fly kind of things. The flowers were gone and he was basically very sad. And this plague of locusts basically means they're small flies and insects that take and eat all these buds and these harvests. So he says that a plague of locusts also would have left more than this, than what the rains have taken away. The hail has left nothing. This year we will have no corn. That night was a sorrowful one. all our work for nothing. So the hail didn't leave anything behind. The family was sad. They knew that nothing has been left for this year. It turned into a happy night, turned into a sorrow night, and all the hard work didn't have any sense. There's no one who can help us. We will all go hungry this year. So till here, let's discuss the key terms. Crest is basically top of a hill. Synonyms for that is peak and antonyms is bottom. So synonym is similar word is peak and antonym is opposite word which is bottom. So crest means top of the hill, synonym peak, antonym bottom. Draped is covered, synonym is wrap and antonyms undraped. Locusts are insects which fly in big swarms and destroy the crops. So there's a did you know also. In the Hebrew Bible, there are 9 different names for the insect of a particular species or varieties in the English Bible. They are rendered sometimes locust, beetle, grasshopper. So this locust in the Bible are referred by different names like caterpillar, grasshopper and everything. Okay. So this is a fact that you all, it's just for extra knowledge. So let's discuss. What did Lencho hope for? He was hoping that, some downpour and some rain would come and his flowers and the buds would harvest, the crops would blossom. Why did Lencho say the raindrops were like new coins? Because that was his source of money. The raindrops, when they came, it was like the crops were blossoming and that would give him more profits. How did the rain change? What happened to Lencho's fields? The rain changed into a hailstorm which destroyed everything in the field. What were Lencho's feeling when the hail stopped? Everything is paused. His life stopped. They didn't know where to go. They didn't know what to do. But in the hearts of all who lived in that solitary house in the middle of the valley, there was a single hope, help from God. So everything aside, the faith and the hope in God was still there. Don't be so upset even though this seems like total loss. Remember, no one dies of hunger. That's what they say, no one dies of hunger. All through the night, Lencho thought of only his one hope, the help of God, whose eyes, as he had been instructed, see everything, even what is deep in one concise. So, when everything happened, all night they just thought that the only help or only hope that now remains is God. So his eyes were just waiting for that one spark or one sign. Lencho was an ox of a man, walking like an animal in the fields, but still he knew how to write. The following Sunday at a daybreak, he began to write a letter which he himself would carry to town and place in the email. It was nothing less than a letter to God. So Lencho was an ox of a man. That means he was a hard-working man. They've used ox as a reference to it. Okay, so ox is basically very hard-working, very strong. So he also hard-worked, and because he was so upset, that following Sunday, he writes a letter to the God and takes it to the town, places in the mail, and addresses it to God. So this is the letter. Understand it properly, guys. God, he wrote. If you don't help me, my family and I will go hungry this year. I need 100 pesos in order to sow my field again and to live until the crop comes, because the hailstorm. He wrote to God on the envelope, put the letter inside, and still troubled, went to town. At the post office, he placed a stamp on the letter and dropped it into the mailbox. So in the letter, he asked God to give him 100 pesos so that he can restart his life. If not, everybody will go hungry, and he describes his problem. He writes this, puts it in an envelope, stamps it, goes to the mailbox and posts it. One of the employees, who was also a postman and also helped, went to his boss laughing heartily and showed him to the letter of God. Never in his career as a postman he had seen such an address. So obviously, you don't even know the address to God, right? It all just resides in the heart of just faith. So one of the employees, who was basically taking out all these mailbox letters, he goes to his boss and starts laughing. See, what is this letter? It's addressed to God. We haven't seen anything as such before. The postmaster, a fat, amiable fellow, also broke out laughing. But almost immediately he turned serious and tapping the letter on the desk commented, "What faith! I wish I had the faith of the man who wrote this letter," starting up a correspondence with God. So the postmaster, when he showed it to the boss, they all started laughing, but he turned serious and he said, "This is true faith. You cannot blind faith on someone and actually ask something to God. I wish I had the faith of the man who wrote this letter." So in order not to shake the writer's faith in God, the postmaster came with an idea to answer the letter. But when he opened it, it was evident that to answer, he needed something more than goodwill, ink and paper. But he stuck to his resolution. He asked for money from his employees, himself gave part of his salary, and several friends were obliged to give something for an act of charity. So the postmaster thought that it's important that this writer's faith is not killed. He has asked something out of a lot of faith, and it shouldn't be disappointed because he doesn't hear back something. So he collects money from everywhere, from all the employees, from all his friends, from his part of salary, takes the money, and as an act of charity through sympathy, he puts it. It was impossible for him to gather together the 100 pesos, so he was able to send the farmer only a little more than half. He put the money, addressed it to Lencho, and with a letter containing only a single word as a signature saying God. So he couldn't actually collect so much money because even a postmaster's salary is not much, right? And how much will other people also give? So he just collected more than half, which is also a very good amount as to be seen. Humans like these are very rare to find who can actually go out to help somebody just to keep their faith alive. So the key terms: amiable, friendly and pleasant. The synonym is cordial, antonym unfriendly. Conscience is basically inner sense of right or wrong. Peso is the basic monetary value of several Latin America and of Philippines. So now let's discuss few questions. Who or what did Lencho have faith in? What did he do? So Lencho had faith in God and he wrote a letter. So who read the letter? Basically the postmaster read. And what did the postmaster do then? He basically took the money from his friends and to keep the faith alive, collected the money and posted it back. So continuing the story, the following Sunday, Lencho came a bit earlier than usual to ask if there was a letter for him. It was the postman himself who handed the letter, while the postmaster, experiencing the contentment of a man who has performed a good deed, looked on from his office. Lencho showed not the slightest surprise on seeing the money. Such was his confidence, but he became angry when he counted the money. God could not have made a mistake, nor could he have denied Lencho what he had requested. So the faith had turned into actually blind faith, a lot of overconfidence, and he didn't even was surprised. He was not even thankful to the postmaster, but he became angry. He's like, God can't do this mistake. Why would God give me just 70 pesos, right? It must be some problem. Immediately, Lencho went up to window to ask for paper and ink. On the public writing letter, he started to write with much wrinkling of his brow, caused by the effort he had made to express his idea. So he now started writing a letter again. When he finished, he went to the window to buy a stamp which he licked, affixed it, and the moment the letter, the postmaster went to open it. It said, God, of the money that I asked for, only 70 pesos reached me. Send me the rest since I need it very much. But don't send it to me through the mail because the post office employees are a bunch of crooks, Lencho. So this is the faith he had in God and distrust in human beings. The people who actually helped him were blamed that they were the one who stole the money. So let's discuss again. Was Lencho surprised to find a letter for him with money in it? No, he was overconfident that God must be sending this money. What made him angry? That the amount was less what he asked for. So now, before moving to the story, because the chapter is over, let's discuss the conflicts that this lesson has given us. So these are the major themes. So whenever there are these questions that also come, and you should also know that what the deep meanings of the story. So the first conflict is human versus nature conflict. The damage of Lencho's crops by the hailstorm exemplifies the clash between humans and nature. So it was a natural disaster, right? What happened to the crops was not something that humans have done. It was something that it has happened naturally. So this was the conflict that between humans and nature. Lencho had put in efforts and harvest was very crucial. He was in desperate need, but he needed nature's help. But what happened was a conflict. There was a fight between what he thought nature would give him and what he was expecting. Nature, on the other hand, becomes ferocious. The rain was accompanied by a hailstorm which completely demolished the crop. So this is the first conflict that is in the chapter, which is human versus nature. What we really expect of nature isn't what really nature gives us. This is what we need to understand, guys, that if humans don't treat nature well, even nature will show you its true colors. Human versus human conflict. Another conflict is between the people. So the postmaster, with the assistants who actually gathered the money, but Lencho took it another way. Rather than being generous, he was actually saying that, they have stolen my money. So despite the fact they accomplished a good action, they accused him. He referred to them as a bunch of crooks. This demonstrates that the man has lost faith in their own and self-human beings. You will not try to trust the people who are beside you, who are actually doing a generous act. You will always try to find loopholes and criticize. So let's discuss the questions. Who does Lencho have complete faith in? Which sentences in the story tell you this? So Lencho has complete faith in God. And the sentences that tell us is basically when the woman says, if God is willing, let us write letter to the God. God will obviously help us. He will not disappoint us. Why does the postmaster send money to Lencho? Why does he sign the letter God? So postmaster thinks that it's better as an act of charity and sympathy. He sends money to Lencho. And he signs the letter as God because he wants the faith of the writer, faith of Lencho, faith of the writer of letter and Lencho to be on God. Did Lencho try to find out who had sent the money to him via wire? He did not, because he trusted God too much. He thought God is sending this and postmaster is stealing it. Who does Lencho think has taken the rest of the money? It's the postmasters. What is the irony? The irony is, so basically what is irony? Irony is when, there's something unexpected aspect. So irony is strange and amusing because it's the opposite of what is expected. So we were expecting that he would actually show gratitude, but he actually accused them. Are there people like Lencho in real world? What kind of person would you say he is? So they are real people. They are people like Lencho. They're actually people like Lencho who do a lot in their faith. They go beyond the extents. They kill people. They trust everything except humans. And we can categorize them as, they're not really greedy. They don't want money. They just have faith. They're naive. Yes, they're not smart. They're stupid. They're ungrateful, kind of. They're selfish. I can't say that. Comical, no. Unquestioning, yes. Because they don't question. They don't try to find the logic or reasoning behind their faith. There are two kinds of conflict, human in nature and human in themselves. So we read, right, both the conflicts. I'll explain it again. Human in nature because what Lencho expected of nature, he couldn't get it back. Between humans because what he was expecting of humans didn't turn out to be that way. They turned to be more sympathizing. They turned out to be more helpful. Let's do a quick revision of this whole story that we have read today. Lencho was a farmer with a ripe cornfield. He needed a downpour of rain to ensure a strong harvest. The rain turned into hailstones, destroying his whole crops. He had nothing to eat, so he decided to seek help from God. Lencho wrote a letter to God demanding 100 pesos. The post office employees made fun of him, but the postmaster decided to help him. The postmaster collected 70 pesos from his own effort, but Lencho was furious that he received only 70 pesos, although he had asked for 100. Lencho wrote another, demanding rest of his money. He also requested to send the money through another means because he believed that post office employees were a bunch of crooks. So this is a quick revision of the story. Let me sum it up again. How we started is basically talking about the author, who is a Mexican novelist and a journalist. He basically, through this story, tried to tell us about faith, tried to tell us how illiterate people think of faith as, and to portray a farmer's plight too. With a series of events, first he tried us to show that how the farmer was happy and was expecting something of the nature. But then it didn't turn out and a hailstorm occurred. Because of the hailstorm, he had nothing left to live in his life. He trusted God, wrote a letter to God. When he wrote a letter to God, the postman received it, and as an act of charity, he tried to keep his faith in God and sent the money, but only 70 pesos is what he could send. So he sent the money to the Lencho. And when he sent the money, Lencho got angry and he's like, God is not listening to me. So he wrote another letter saying that I know it's not you, it's the postman stealing all the money. So here we discover two conflicts, human versus human, human versus nature. So this is the story all about. Bye-bye. See you again.